Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We're live on Instagram, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I want to welcome everyone to another Haiti Business News show on this 24th of October. And though for those who are coming in after the fact watching this post live, I do want to remind you guys that you can always, at least until tomorrow, right, for sure, catch it at between 7:30 Eastern to catch it live, to be able to comment. And from then on, we'll be looking to do a Sunday show each Sunday. Haiti Business News show is going to be a weekly show for a while I work on getting my book out, getting that book done. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm not a guy who talks about it. I'm a guy who knocks it out, who acts, right? And I really want to get this out and it's on the way. It's 101 ways to make money in Haiti. Lucrative business ideas, inspiring success stories, and interesting business opportunities for forward-thinking entrepreneurs. That book is on its way, but I need time to do it. So we'll be taking and reducing the amount of time I'm on this Haiti Business News, just so I can get that out. And of course, long term, we will be back to a daily Haiti Business News, and of course, we'll do it bigger and better. And of course, you'll still be able to catch your daily fixes on HaitiBizNews.com, Haiti, BIZNews.com. You'll still get quality news stories being aggregated from all across the internet and transformed to English, because a lot of it's in French, so you can consume. So I'm not leaving you high and dry. Still got HaitiBizNews.com, and you'll get the weekly show every Sunday. That's going to recap the entirety of the week and exactly how you used to get it in a way that makes sense, that isn't conspiracy theory based, business centric solutions on how to move forward, how we can get involved in the diaspora to impact the change Haiti needs. Because we're going to keep fighting. The way Haiti is right now, we're not going to allow it to stay this way. We're not of the type that just sits and just despairs. We're not the type that accepts the title poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. We're looking to make impact and make it the right way, which is investments, safe, wise investments, and job-centric advancement, right? Because the central issue facing Haiti is jobs. How can you install electricity in Haiti if people can't pay for electricity? How can you build hospitals in Haiti if there isn't a mechanism to pay for it, though it could come from the state? In every other developed country, you get a percentage of their income from their job to help fund the Medicare or medical facilities, right? How do you tackle so many of the big issues, education, right, without jobs? Jobs are at the very root of it all, right? And it does take initial investment of the government to do what it needs to do, but certainly jobs are at the hands of entrepreneurs and business starters, and that's what we need to be. We need to be that component. We need to focus on that and focus less on waiting for some mystical imaginary government in Haiti to suddenly realize it needs to get its act together. We need to engage in that first. Meanwhile, still pushing for a proper and respectable political change, right? And of course, you guys got me going on a little too early in the cast here. I don't have enough people in the stream yet to start. So let me reel it back a little bit, right? Let me talk about Bunge. It looks like, okay, we had a little suspension of the stream there, but we're back online. There we go. We're back online. Let me talk about Bunge GoFundMe, right? It's still happening, right? We're still trying to get Bunge back online. We were at around 26,000 last I checked. We need to get it more. Their goal is 50,000, right? And we're making progress, but we're not there yet. So I'm dropping that link once again in the chat. And again, if you can't contribute, if you already contributed, you can always reshare, right? You can always reshare it on your social media. You can always reshare within your WhatsApp group. You can always reshare directly to friends, because we need an ecosystem, the movement that Bunch is moving forward. We do need to get back live, and we need to be part of that, right? So Bunch, that link is there. Donate if you can, share if you can't, right? You can share, costs is nothing but a button click, right? So let's go ahead and at least try to do that. All right. And as always, share the stream. The quality of the conversations we're going to have here this morning all depends upon the engagement we're able to get. The amount of folks who are able to come on the stream, provide their perspective, right? And it doesn't have to, I don't have to agree with it, right? I have plenty of folks I don't agree with. I'll read it, and I'll tell you I don't agree. I'll probably leave it there. You know what I mean? But it's really important that you share the stream, get the ROI of knowledge up with the more folks who are available. So share that stream while you're watching it. Even after the fact, you can share it so folks can be privy to the conversations we've had this morning. We got Adele Alfred on YouTube. Good morning. First time seeing you in the chat, I think. I don't recall seeing it yet, but good morning. Hope I see you again. How can you build a business in Haiti when the government is so corrupt? Great question. So my question to you, Adele Alfred, is: have you been to Haiti? All right, I'll wait for her to respond, because that's a very valid question. Right? Have you ever been to Haiti? We'll give her a second to respond, guys. Yes or no? Waiting for your response. Ask a good question about it. I got to ask you a question right back. That's why I can engage with you properly. Adele Alfred, go ahead. Have you been to Haiti? Yes or no? I'm waiting for a response. Good morning over on IG. Larry, I can't ever quite say your name, even though I see you here all the time. Good morning. Larry X Natale. All right, good morning. Still waiting for her to respond, guys. Who else is on the IG here? A lot of folks coming in. We got Kenald David Jr. in there. Good morning. We got Bougie Lou in here as well. Good morning. Appreciate the wave backs. Right. Okay, great. So Adele has responded on YouTube. She says yes. Okay. It's important that I got the response, because that question she wrote, and I'll post it here. Right. She says, how can you? I asked that follow-up to her before I could answer it, because when you come into the Haiti, I always say, is it devoid of business? When you go to Haiti, it's important, because a lot of folks who haven't been will get this perception, right? When you go to Haiti, and you got to be honest with yourselves, right? Because people are very quick to share the negative about Haiti, but they never show the positive things. Are there not grocery stores? When you go to Haiti, are there not gas stations? When you go to Haiti, are there not hardware stores? When you go to Haiti, are there not places you can eat, right? There are actual, they call them, I forget the specific names, but, we have little pastry shops, so you can have pates and pizza and burgers and a bunch of real cool stuff. Are there not hotels, right? Even though hotels are struggling right now, given the political climate, are there not hotels, right? Are there not places you can go and give your hand money across the counter and receive something back, maybe a product, good or service? Are there not dry cleaners, right? Are there not places to wash your car, right? So the question is, how can you do business in Haiti, but yet when you visit the country, there's businesses operating? That's your answer, right? There's businesses operating. And then on top of that, the next thing that happens when people go into Haiti, they go into the businesses and they see it's run by everyone who is not a Haitian, right? They see Syrians and Lebanese, they see Filipino people, they see Asian people in there, they see Dominicans running it, right? But they don't see Haitians, right? Because of that very question that Adele, and I'm looking at her photo, she looks like a very strong African sister. I don't know where she's coming from, but I'm assuming she's Haitian herself. But you get those questions coming from the Haitian community specifically, always, constantly, right? Very negative I don't, where it's corrupt. I don't see how I can do it. But yet the reality is everyone else is doing business in Haiti. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that, right? Ask yourself that. How is everyone else is doing business in Haiti, but yet the Haitians who fought in the independence, the bloodline, they're abroad saying Haiti's too corrupt. I cannot do business there. Why? Just don't respond. I know you want to probably get argumentative and defend your position because I'm calling you out, but just think about that response, right? Especially the next time you're in the country and you see every single other business owner is a non-photo ethnically connected person who connect, who are, we can say, had a direct stereotypical look of someone who fought in independence, who were slaves. Okay. And I'll leave it there. I know Adele has probably a lot more she wants to respond to, but I'll leave it there because I want her to think about that answer. And I want everyone who watches this, who may come in with that mindset, to ask yourself, why is it? And of course, if you've been here long enough, you know my response, right? You know my response is, yes, Haiti is difficult to do business. Yes, Haiti is a corrupt place. All right. It took me 2 years and me navigating, through knowing who to, connecting to people and knowing who to speak with to finally register my business. Right. It took, and to this day, I'm still, in fact, I just installed solar panels. I just had to buy a second Delco. There's massive investments I have to do here where I wouldn't necessarily have to do elsewhere because of the situation overall, right? And obviously the people in the streets right now in Pitcher Caribe, they're fighting aggressively for a better, less corrupt situation in the country, right? We know this, right? Now, so I'm not sugarcoating it. Let's be clear. This isn't the sugarcoat channel. It's, I'm not lying. It's a difficult situation to do business here, but it's necessary, right? And it's even more necessary that it's me, right? It's me that's doing it, because my employees that are here, even in the crisis, we're hiring, right? Up to 8 now employees that all look like me as well. Appreciate that, right? It's absolutely necessary to do, and the way to do it is to share the reality, right? And have it be less expensive in the sense that, I've already passed through the hurdles. I've passed through the most difficult aspects of starting a business here. And I'm sort of still a very, only been here 3 years, but this new branch of business been here about a year. And I share that knowledge with, that's why I do this show. That's why I have my channel. That's why I have a new Palais series, which is a playlist that provides experience, not only for me, but other experienced veterans who've been doing business here for years in much tougher times, who are Haitian themselves, right? I'm sharing that knowledge and how I overcame so you can go overcome. And really the goal here is to build a network, a knowledge network, an action network that can help other diaspora to overcome in ways that minimize their forced engagement in a corrupt ecosystem, right? As much as possible, because there are good actors within the system of l'État. I've found them, right? And whenever someone comes up to me and asks, hey, Chris, I'm trying to get this done in l'État, I'm trying to get this particular document or legal thing done. I know there's one good guy, who isn't going to get involved in nonsense. Here's his contact information. Try to get a hold of him. Here's his lawyer that has done an exceptionally good job, right? Here's their contact information. Go ahead and get at it, right? So instead of focusing on the negative, let's ask, okay, what are the ways to overcome and move forward and really get progress done the only way it can be done, which is through jobs and through the economy. And then, of course, meanwhile, again, I always say this, I'm not insulating the political aspect. You have to engage the political aspect, but we can engage with a lot more power, right, when we have an economic stronghold, right, instead of just being activists. right? Instead of just being guys with long horns and just calling, hey, you guys need to change government. No, no. You can influence the government a lot more if you have a big foothold of the economy behind you, right? And that's really what we're trying to work here, an economic business focus approach to political change. Right? Let's provide jobs to these folks, and then we'll be able to engage with much stronger foothold with what we need to do in the economy. Right? But great question, very early on, Adele. I appreciate you. I hope you keep bringing these very tough questions. I do appreciate it. All right. And of course, that probably brings me to my YouTube channel. Of course, we had a fantastic conversation with Daniel, and Karine from Bronx and veteran business people. So if you haven't seen that video yet, it is going to be down in the description. All right. So let's get started. Haiti Business News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing news as to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business, investment, and entrepreneurial activity. Today is the 24th of October. Let's talk about it, right? And the first bit of news I do want to engage here. I want to update folks on the protests. We have a very precarious situation that's going to be coming very soon here. We have a lot of the opposition calling from next week between October 27th and November 2nd. They're asking for what they're calling, this is their words, an overthrow of President Moise. They're asking to do whatever it takes to get President Moise out. That means blocking roads. That means going to vandalizing. They're saying whatever it takes, and to help. A final push is what they're calling to get Moise out. Very, very sinister words. There's no crypticness about it. And they're saying they want, by November 2nd, they want President Moise out by any means necessary, right? And that's the most up-to-date update, and that's particularly from a fellow by the name of Andre Mical, who was for a long time sort of his function as the loudest voice, even before, who would have been saying President Moise has to go. And I guess given the overturns and what he's seeing, he is, I guess, emboldened to take the protest to a very next, it's a violent level, right? So we'll see if that really comes into fruition. I can tell you that on the ground here, things have somewhat returned to somewhat normal. We have increasingly more students going back to school. We are seeing a flow of traffic and flow of commerce starting to return. We're seeing businesses to be reopened, albeit with less staff. We're seeing that overall atmosphere and tension starting to decrease a little bit. I think there is a degree of fatigue in a good percentage of the population, but just as equally, there is still a very strong population that wants President Moise out and a new system to be put in place. But where the balance is, seesaw-wise, I don't know. Where the balance is right now, I don't know. So we're watching it, and we're going to certainly keep an eye on how things happen on next week with the very strong calls, right? Before I move on to other little updates, let me take a look at chat to see what we're talking about here. We got Franch Koshi saying, I'm Haitian American. I would like to go back and start a business, possibly vote. Absolutely. That's really what I think the system updates, right? The calls for a total new system is supposed to allow for certainly the aspect of, well, to be fair, actually, Franz, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but actually you can do both right now. If your mom and dad are Haitian, or even your mom or dad is Haitian, even if you're not born in Haiti, you can once you can show that, you bring their birth certificate and your birth certificate that has their name on it, then you can get a NIF, NIF, just sort of like the Haitian social security number, and then you can function in the country, in so much that you can even register your business and function, and you can own land just like you're native Haitian, and you can even vote. You can get a voter card and even vote, right? But of course, the caveat is you have to be in the country to vote, right? One of the things that the new constitution hopefully will do would allow you to vote from abroad, like every other country. As an American here in Haiti, I can go to the U.S. Embassy and participate in any vote that I want to participate in, right? But just to be clear, Franz, a lot of Haitians say that sentence and they don't realize that you can go back and start a business and vote, right? So I'm not sure if you're just saying you would like to do it and you knew that, or if you didn't know that you could. But if it's the latter and you know that you could. You just do it. Just do it. I'm here. I have red blood cells and 2 legs. I did it. What's stopping you? See what I'm saying? Right? Just decide you're gonna do it and start making plans to do it, right? And then do it slowly. My big thing I tell people is to do it very slowly. Take over a year, come back and forth. Every month, try to come back, spend a couple of days here and there, reacclimate yourself to what Haiti is. Faire fort sur langue créole là parce que c'est langue nous a fini sur un pays il faut qu'il au niveau des matrices dans langue là même les pas c'est anglais m'a lagué sur podcast là même les ont accent but vocabulaire là on got go one way. So work on the Creole, right? Just do it. Just do it. We got Arak Prince. Bonjour, SeeJeanty avec tout le monde qui j'ennuie. I think we're good. We're good. Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. And we got Tori Andre in here saying it will happen in Egypt and it could happen in Haiti. Yeah, Haiti is in Egypt. Simple as that. And secondly, I'm not sure how good Egypt is doing right now. Egypt is being run again in a very dictatorial sort of atmosphere. So I'm not sure how much we want to be Egypt, right? So, yeah. All right, so let's go back to the updates. So broken contract. So we have, Jovenel, President Moise, who is still on the offensive right now. And so he actually has broken the contract with HLS International. For those who don't know, it is the international Israeli firm that had a contract to update or modernize the ports in Haiti. A lot of folks have suggested that Bijou, of course, the wealthiest Haitian in Haiti, who has a shared Jewish descent and heritage, and actually functions as the de facto or perhaps facto ambassador to Israel on behalf of Haiti, and orchestrated that connection. And it's been estimated that Jovenel's move to block that contract now was a sort of shot at Bijou. And if we recall, Jovenel's at war with who he has perceived the cause of the current political uproar that he's facing, the rich and wealthy, instead of the 40% inflation. It's not 30% inflation. It's not the 40% devaluation of the good. It's not his mishandling of things such as forcing the country for a period of time to be good only, right? It doesn't have to do with him, overnight during a Brazil soccer match, raising the gas price by 50%. Meanwhile, even the IMF, who wanted him to just raise it gradually over time, right? It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with him voting against Venezuela when most of the people have a great affinity for Venezuela, right? At most, he should have perhaps voted and abstained rather than voting against, right? Voting against, policy-wise, against China. China wanted to come in and engage, totally modernize Port-au-Prince from the ground up, right? From streets to canals to sewage systems, trash collection, everything, totally. And he said, I'm good, because America wants me to stick with Taiwan, so I'm gonna stick with Taiwan. Right? So it's not these things he's done. It's simply that it's the bourgeoisie who don't like the fact that he's trying to do public work and not involve them, and so he's going after them. That's his perspective, and that's his grasp of the reality of what's facing him and the country, and thus he's going after very symbolic companies of the bourgeois. For example, another piece of news: Auto Plaza is under attack, which is owned by Reginald Boulos, who is very recently getting maybe more active on the political front of things. And they increased the interest rate around 10 basis points on a very large loan that he has, right, with them. And one aspect that he released in the response to this increase of this loan was the fact that the way the loan was structured, which was about 14 or so percent, it's increased to about 21% now. The way it was structured was that ONA, which is the bureau that loaned him that money, National Bureau for Insurance, basically. One reason that he was able to get, I guess, a sort of somewhat special deal was because for every vehicle Auto Plaza sold, and Auto Plaza was a car dealership, they were supposed to get 1.5%. 1.5% of every car sale, right? In addition to paying off the loan, right? And that 1.5% didn't affect the loan either, right? That was just, hey, here's 1.5%, here's your cut, boom, right? And then in addition to, they still had to pay back the loan, right? And now, and the way the contract was written, per my understanding of the response, they have to, they're looking to remove that part. They'll say, yeah, basically their stance is, hey, listen, no problem. Right? Well, yeah, listen, if you want to play politics, okay, well, it's cool. We will abide to this new interest, right? Fine. But the clause in the contract that allowed us to get this quote unquote special deal of giving you guys 1.5% of every car sale, we're taking that out. We're going to take that out. Okay. And so that's the current response right now from Auto Plaza, right? And additionally, the DGE, the tax office of Haiti, has been instructed by it's been instructed to go after senior government clerks, right, who had signed the energy contract of E-Power under President René Préval. They've been instructed to criminally go after about 3 senior clerks who, one was Minister of Finance, another was Minister of Public Works, right? To go after what they view as contracts that have harmed the state. So as you guys can see, President Moïse is genuinely at war with the bourgeoisie. It wasn't just words when he got on his last State of the Union and said that right now, people are mad because people are paying them to be mad. Right? They're mad because of the bourgeois and the fact that I'm going after contracts, right? And he's going after them, right? Take it for what it is, right? And I'd love to hear your perspective on that, right? Let's see. I see you do have one response. The weekend getaway guys says, I agree, Jovenel dropped the ball on many levels. We can't ignore there are key players in Haiti in the background agitating the situation. Absolutely. I like the way you phrase that. Has had traditionally background players who influence protests through money. Just to say otherwise is naive and would show a total disconnect of how politics is played in Haiti. What I really want folks to emphasize, though, is that, and I hear this too much, is that they cast the entire protest, the entire hundreds of thousands of people who are on the street, to being paid to be there. If anything, what the money that's going to protesters are going to the worst elements who are doing vandalism, or starting, who are going into and starting the looting process, right? We could say a lot of the most vile acts of the protests so far most likely were done by paid protesters. But the vast majority of peaceful protesters who are out in the street demanding improvement in their lives, which has only gotten worse in the 3 years I've been here, right? In terms of food costs, in terms of just the lack of hope that exists currently in the country, the total lack of progress that exists in the country because of the political class, right? The parliament, and particularly not the president, really. The president is a figurehead. I've expressed this many times. It's the parliament that has all the power, and our constitution is written in a way that gives the parliament extreme amount of power. But the fact that they have not passed in 3 years, they've only proposed 7 bills and voted 3 into law, with the most recent one being one that recognized Kampa as a national heritage item. Not improving the business environment, not making it easier to register a business, not passing anti-corruption laws to make it less feasible for folks to corrupt, not to pass laws to improve education, not to pass laws to improve the health situation in the country, to improve the electricity infrastructure. They passed a law, the only law they passed even before that in a year and a half, that recognized Kampa as a national heritage. Let's go with the key problem Haiti. Let's go with one, right? To go back to what my friend's saying here, right, is that the problem and why people are on the street is because of that lack of parliamentary action to do things to improve the life of the people here, right? And the overall blame that the very ineffective parliament, which is senator and deputies, while they're making, by the way, they're the highest paid parliament in the entire Caribbean, even more than the DR. The DR that's actually functioning, they make more, right? A DR, we're not even talking about benefits. We're talking about just base salary. A DR politician makes $124,000 a year, whereas a Haitian politician makes $127,000 a year, and that's just base salary. We're not talking about all the perks and benefits, right? And that's a problem, right? Meanwhile, they pass no laws. They blame the president, even though the Constitution gives them all the power, right? And meanwhile, people are suffering, and that's why people are on the street. And I want you to understand that we can get away. Is that yes, and I think you do. Yes, there are elements being paid, but in 80 to 90% of the folks who are on the street today, you're fatigué, and they want a change. I just want folks to appreciate that, understand that. Okay. Nico and Gina are on the stream. Good morning. Right. Probably because they would be locking themselves up. Exactly. Right? Kenar David, I'm sure the President Jovenel made a lot of mistakes since he took office, but I always take everything with a grain of salt when the bourgeoisie adamantly goes against the president. I don't know how to respond to that. Otherwise, except to tell you that I'm not bourgeois. I'm in the country. I'm just a working class schmuck trying to make a change, right? And I can tell you, brother, take my word for it, right? I know you don't like the bourgeois, okay? I know you like the bourgeois, right? But just take my word for it. Things are bad for the PEP, right? And there needs to be a change, right? And the change that is I'm seeing that's happening, and the way it's self-organizing itself, there are going to be more associations and interest groups that involve the interests of different segments of the PEP than the oversized influence that the bourgeois will have. And the bourgeois in every place you go in the world have an oversized influence that's larger than their numbers, right? If you're in America, come on now, you got political PACs that are able to drop billions of dollars to influence politicians. So don't sit there holier than thou saying your system is better, right? Everywhere you go in the world, the bourgeois, the rich, have more influence, right? Okay, but we have to appreciate the fact that, and I'm hearing construction happening outside my doors here. Okay, it went away. Very good. So I have some more time. We have to appreciate that this is a grassroots movement by folks who are in dire straits and need improvement in their lives. Okay. For Jackson goes for now. He low class needs to endure the birth plan until Jovenel delivers this new system. I'm not sure Jovenel is going to give you any new system. Yeah, I'm not. They probably understand what that comment there for. All right. And in the final piece of update in the protests, we have 8 of the 15 students who are on hunger strike now hospitalized. Right. So much prayers to them, and certainly we do hope, hopefully at the end of the day, their hunger strike was not for naught, right? Especially for the remaining folks who are still on the hunger strike. As we mentioned before, there were UEH, University of Haiti law students who were on hunger strike 15, and 3 had already dropped out, and then an additional 8 and now are in the hospital, right? So we do appreciate their sacrifice, and hopefully it shows that the level of discontent with President Moise is very high, and it's not just the bourgeoisie that are pushing it. It's students, it's the PEP, it's all sectors of life. You had just yesterday we had the religious groups, the Catholic Church, in combination with Protestants, all marching to get President Moise out. Right? So whatever our biases may be, when you have every sector of the population saying we don't want it, maybe they really don't want it, right? In other news, we have crops. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have come out with a very favorable projection of how things may be in 2020 for crop yields. The past 2 years, we've seen drought conditions and a decrease in output in domestic agriculture. Their expectation, however, is that next year we are going to see higher expected rainfall, and in certain aspects, such as that rice and maize, to be able to be produced at a rate that is going to actually grow in that sector rather than being in a decrease as it has been. So we're certainly looking for that. Certainly looking forward to the jobs that can provide, and potentially the easement of very near famine-like conditions in many parts of the country, especially since these protests have been happening. A lot of goods have not been able to reach a lot of these places. But early 2020 is a long time. And still, this year's not over. And whether or not, given these political protests, we're going to have an abatement and an improvement in that particular condition, we will see. Time will tell. Right? And also, and the final piece of news we want to talk about is the tourism sector. The numbers are out. The Tourism Association of Haiti has come out, and they've come out with stats that have said 50 to 60% decrease in the sector, and in particular, a decrease of 50 to 60% of jobs in the sector as well. And that is heartbreaking. Someone who has promoted Haiti tremendously through my channel, and through all the work I've done in personal relationships, just to see that within such a short time, the tourism sector has been said to be out of place right now where it was back at the earthquake, right? And that is, again, incredibly discouraging, and certainly shows that all actors of the economy, all actors of civil life, all actors at all levels really need to push for a Haiti that works for everyone. A Haiti that works for just some people isn't going to work for anyone. And that's what we're seeing right now. And I hope that one thing that's going to come positively out of this crisis is that for those who are holding the levers of power, right, that no one wins when just a few people win, right? When just a few people are able to make money at the expense of others, at the expense of the entire population, no one's going to win, right? And what we're seeing now with the contraction of the GDP, what we're seeing now with the contraction of the tourism sector, that's really has for a long time really is going to play a key factor in any recovery, any growth of the economy. It's certainly heartbreaking, and all we can do is keep fighting for that change, keep fighting for that improvement, that policy business-centric solution that is going to allow us to influence the country and move in the direction that it needs to go. Right? One that focuses on jobs, opportunity, and really, more than anything, for all Haitians, equal chance. An equal chance. Okay? Ma liberté financière, who to replace? You cannot replace the with opposition. I mean, they haven't been voted in. This guy's cool. So I like that question. And the short answer, my brother, is that, and I've talked about this before, the people aren't fighting for a new president. Let's be very clear with that. The people are not on the streets right now saying we want a new president. The people on the streets right now saying they want a new system, right? They want a new system. President Moïse leaving and then a new president taking over the helm of this system is unacceptable, right? They want a new constitution. We've talked about this. I know you follow me long enough, brother. I expect this question from someone else. I don't expect it from you, right? Because the goal of these protests isn't a new president. The goal of these protests is a new constitution that's going to empower the diaspora. It's going to decrease the amount of senators from 50 to 10, the amount of deputies from 100 to about 50, right? The goal here is to change, and across the board, a lot of different aspects to make it easier for the diaspora to vote, right? Earmarking the government spending to be always at least 25% for education, right? So we're looking at a new constitution to be pushed. Nothing else is going to be acceptable to the people on the streets. If President Moïse leaves and the transitional government says we're going to put a new president and just to elect a new government, the people will be right back on the street. The people are not fighting for a new president. They're fighting for a new constitution, a new system. I want everybody who's watching the stream to understand that and understand when I hear, well, who's going to replace for a new constitution? Okay? But I appreciate that, my libertarian. And yes, catch up on the streams, man. Catch up on the streams. All right. And Adele, Fred, I answered that question. Yeah, Adele asked what comes next after president. We just answered that question. Farrah Jackson goes, Jovenel may not have made other decisions correctly, but he's trying to root out corruption. Yeah, Farrah, I don't know what to tell you, my dear, but your perception of Jovenel isn't the perception of who he is in the country and how he's acted. President Moïse is an incompetent bluffé. He's an incompetent liar who should not be running the country. Okay, and that's it. Whatever you watch and you say, oh, okay, maybe he's not a bad guy. Not a bad guy. We've been here for 3 years. We've seen how he runs the country. We've had enough, and the country has only declined during his time in power. Right? Whatever you may, think of what he could do, what he has done has been nothing. Right? This is what it is, right? And as a person who was very much like you, give Jovenel a chance, give an opportunity, and see what he can do. And even if the best argument that can come back at me, which is this argument here, is to say, how are you going to give Moïse? I mean, how are you going to go after Moïse like you are, even though the opposition has stopped him at every single turn, and they've not vote his PM. But bear in mind, no one forced his first PM to drop. He fired his first PM and even forced his second PM to be fired because he didn't like him. Right? Better keep that in mind, by the way. But let's just keep with that narrative for a little bit longer and say, you know what, no, the opposition is left and right, not allowing him to implement his policies. The response to that is his party, PHTK, has had the majority in parliament. He could have passed any particular law he wanted if he knew how to lead and direct and influence people. If he had actual vision, right? That wasn't based off of just talking and placating whoever's audience he was speaking in front of, right? His results have spoken for itself, and it's been ineffective. And most importantly, given that the president is really ultimately a figurehead, he has not inspired hope in the people. And for that reason alone, he needs to go. All right, Farrell. Don't take my word for it. Ask around. Ask as many Haitians in Haiti their perspective on President Moise, and they will tell you exactly how they feel. And it's going to be very much in the ballpark of what I just expressed. Okay? My Liberté Financière says, all I can say is when I was in Port-au-Prince, $1 was $68 good. I was shocked when I saw it at 98, $15 for a box of cereal. Ease up on the business creation, lower the tax. Yep, ease up on the business creation process, I guess he means to say, and lower the tax. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. Right. In fact, when I first came as well, I think good was around, about 68. Yeah, it was about 68 good, right? I first moved back about 3 years ago. Now it's pushing, it's actually 94 right now, but it's getting up there, right? And certainly by the end of the year, we'll be 100. It'll be one good for 100, $1 for one good. I'm messing it up. 100 good for $1, right? So, all right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end it today. I appreciate everyone who came on the stream. I like my regulars. I appreciate you guys for coming in and providing your perspective. Always appreciate it. Adele, Alfred, being a new time commenter. I do hope to see you again in the stream. I appreciate your perspective. I hope you gain a little bit from this conversation. Certainly, folks on IG, appreciate it. And I guess I'll be grabbing one last comment. You see Fritz Javal in here. Good morning, my brother. And he goes, the reality is we are hoping on good faith for him to resign, which I don't see happening, and no leaders in Haiti we have. How long are we willing to sacrifice the people? Both sides can make concessions. And I think Fritz came in a little late, but we already talked about, we're not talking about a new leader, we're talking about a new system, right? So Fritz, do rewind a little bit after the stream ends. You'll catch what I said about the fact that we're not here to get a new leader. We're not here to bring a new president in. We're here to change the system, i.e., a new constitution. All right, so rewind a little bit. I did a whole big monologue on that. But appreciate your comment, right? And set tono. Yes, I already did. The stream's about to end though, and you can always rewind back a little bit and find where I talked about the tourism stats. Right. And in short, it's not good. It's not good. Right. But all right, guys, that's it. That's where we're going to end it. As always, share the stream. We had a very qualitative conversation today, right? So please, let's bring more folks. Let's improve the knowledge base of folks who want to engage and want to stay in Haiti, and share the stream. For those who are new to what we're doing here, make sure subscribe to Facebook, to the YouTube. Check out the channel, the YouTube channel. We got a lot of real cool content out there. And again, Haiti is going to improve, and the way it's a slow and consistent process that's going to allow us to improve. Right, it's like a river. The Grand Canyon was not built overnight. It was built by a slow-moving stream that was able to create a magnificent thing out of nothing. And that's what we are. That's what we're trying to do here in Haiti, with Haiti, and it will be done. Believe me, not in this lifetime, my kids or my grandkids. Believe me. All right. So again, that's where we're gonna end it. And so we're back at it again, guys. We'll be back at it again. Peace.